Stadium Golf Center is proud to present highlight coverage of the first round of the 2013 San Diego Skills Challenge. Sponsored by TaylorMade, makers of the #1 driver in golf. And now let's take a look at some of the highlights and recap the round of the Sweet 16. The first match of the day had number 4 seed Danny Thogmartin taking on number 13 seed Kevin Hoadley. Both players seemed a bit tight on their first swings, with Kevin missing left and Danny wowing the crowd by driving his ball through the pole. Kevin missed on his second shot while Danny split the poles from the back tee, scoring 85 points. Moving on to stage 2, Kevin continued to struggle, missing on both of his attempts to break the glass, while Danny was dead solid perfect on his second shot from the back tee, scoring 85 points. At that point, Kevin Hoadley made a decision. All right, well, Danny, nice job breaking the glass on your second shot. Well done. But now we've got a unique situation, and we've asked our official, Monty Leon, to come in and explain.
Yeah, Danny, unfortunately your opponent, Kevin, had to leave during the middle of the competition, which is an automatic disqualification, and that'll get you into the grade 8 round of the Skills Challenge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Match number 2 had number 8 seed Casey Leonard taking on number 9 seed Bernard Cannon. Casey started strong, scoring 85 points on his first shot. Bernard tied the match up, scoring 85 points on his second shot. At stage 2, Casey took the lead by breaking the glass on his first shot from the front tee, scoring 50 points. He now led the match 135 to 85. Casey extended his lead by scoring 50 points on his first attempt to flop the wall. Bernard continued to struggle by missing both of his flops. Casey opened the door at stage 4 by scoring a 0. Bernard took advantage of the opening by scoring 102 points. Trailing in the match 187 to 185, Casey opted to let Bernard go first in the 5th and final stage, the putt. From the back tee, Bernard knocked it to 36 inches for a score of 134 points and a match total of 321. Casey could win the match by simply knocking his putt to within 33 inches. However, his putt ended up 50 inches away, giving Bernard the win.
Match number 3 had number 5 seed Lonnie Cornaire taking on number 12 seed Dan O'Rourke. Lonnie struggled in this match from the very start, missing his first drive and not getting on the board until the 5th stage. Dan scored 50 points at the driving stage, but struggled himself at stage 2, scoring 0 points. He temporarily regained his form by scoring 50 points on both of his flop shots. At the end of stage 3, Dan led the match 150 points to 0. With a chance to close the match out early with a good score at the bump and run, Dan chunked his shot and scored 0 points. So, despite his early troubles, Lonnie still had a chance going into the putting stage. But the best he could do was a score of 106 points, allowing Dan to easily move into the round of the grade 8.
Match number 4 had top qualifier number 1 seed Daniel Marino taking on the most valuable member and number 16 seed Joe Canales. As a sponsor's exemption, Joe's abilities were untested and many thought this match might be a blowout in favor of Daniel Marino. However, Joe held his own, matching Daniel's 85 points at the first stage and even taking the lead by breaking the glass on his second shot, scoring another 85 points. After both players scored 50 points at Flop the Wall, Joe held the lead after 3 stages but faltered with a poor effort at the bump and run, while Daniel tightened up the match by scoring 145 points. As they entered the final stage, Joe led by just 38 points with the momentum switching back over to Daniel Marino. Daniel opted to let Joe putt first. Joe left the door wide open for Daniel with a putt ending up 4 feet away and only scoring 122 points. With a chance to win, Daniel calmly stepped up and struck a nerve, blowing his putt by the hole, giving the unknown Joe Canales a ticket to the grade 8.
Match number 5 had number 2 seed Jim Mintun facing up against number 15 seed Brian Tasto, who had made it into the head-to-head competition as the first alternate. Both players started off with a conservative mindset, opting to hit both of their shots at stage 1 from the front tee. Jim was a solid 2 for 2, scoring 100 points, while Brian faltered on his second shot, ending up with only 50 points. A missed shot which may come back to haunt him later in the match. Both players felt the nerves at stages 2 and 3, scoring 0 points. At the bump and run, Jim stepped up his game a bit with a decent shot, adding another 124 points, while Brian didn't quite match Jim's effort, scoring only 77 points. Going into the final stage, Brian trailed in the match 224 to 127 and opted to have Jim putt first. With a chance to close out the match, Jim hit a very poor putt, leaving it 45 inches away and only scoring 80 points. Still, Brian knew he had to make the putt from the back tee. As the ball slid just under the hole, Jim Mintun was able to dodge a bullet and move on to the second round with a final score of 304 to 267.
Match number 6 saw number 6 seed Kerry Calvert go up against number 11 seed Kyle Rector. Both players started off with 50 points on their first swings at stage 1. On the second shot, Kerry missed, while Kyle split the poles from the back tee and scored an additional 85 points. At that point, Kerry decided to leave the match without contacting officials or acknowledging his departure to his opponent. Head official Monty Leon stepped in.
All right, Kyle, tough going on that second stage, but we have a unique situation and we've asked Monty Leon, the official, to come in and explain what's going on.
Kyle, yes, unfortunately your opponent, Kerry, had to leave during the competition. That's an automatic disqualification. That'll get you on to the grade 8 round of the skills challenge. Right. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Match number 7 saw number 3 seed Ryan Degheri take on number 14 seed Kyle Koop. Both players felt the nerves through the first 2 stages, with only Ryan scoring 50 points via his second shot at the driving stage. While Kyle continued his problems at the flop the wall, again scoring 0 points, Ryan added to his lead by scoring 50 points on each of his 2 attempts. Entering the 4th stage, Ryan led the match 150 points to 0. Neither player was impressive at the bump and run stage, but Ryan did add to his lead by scoring 92 points to Kyle's 53. With a solid 189-point lead entering the final stage, Ryan's putt, worth only 76 points, was enough to close out the match and allow him to move on to the round of the grade 8 with a score of 318 to Kyle's 205.
Match number 8 had number 7 seed David Helton taking on number 10 seed Pat Weishan. Both players were strong at the first stage, scoring on each of their 2 shots, with David taking a slightly more aggressive style and scoring from the back tee, while Pat split his shots between the 2 tees. Both players stumbled at break the glass, scoring 0 points. While David continued to struggle at stage 3, scoring 0 points, Pat was able to hit an excellent second shot, having the ball stop in the inner circle and picking up an additional 85 points. Entering into the bump and run stage, Pat was on top with a score of 220 points to David's 170. Knowing he needed to make a move, David hit an impressive shot and picked up 132 points. While trying to counterpunch and put the pressure back onto David, Pat hit a shot which may have cost him the match, scoring only 19 points. Now, trailing in the match, Pat opted to have David putt first. With a sizable 64-point lead and a chance to close out the match, David hit a horrendous putt, scoring only 30 points and leaving the door wide open for Pat to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Pat stroked it to less than 2 feet and a score of 126 points, winning the match 365 to 332 and moving into the round of the grade 8.